So I decided to do things a little bit more differently. I redrew the drawing, and I'm halfway done with the how I'm going to put this into perspective. I got the original drawing right here, so I'm just trying to change the structure of it because some faces aren't right and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to change it more. But anyway, let's just get started with something that I went to go watch earlier. I think it was yesterday, the day it came out, Friday. I went to go see, Despicable Me 3. Now, let me get this out of the way. I actually like the Despicable Me movies. I have no problem saying that, and because it was one of the franchises that actually left an impact on me when I was like a wee little girl. I think that movie came out when I was that movie came out 2010, so I was probably 10 or 11 years old at the time the first movie came out, and I really liked it because, I was a little kid and I didn't know any better. I mean, I don't know how I would feel about it now, to be honest. I don't know how I would feel about it now. I mean, would I look at it the same way again? I think nostalgia would, blind me to see, like, whether or not it was a good movie or not, but to be completely honest, I like the story that was presented in the original movie. And going to the second one, I liked it a little bit less than the first one, but I still liked it. Even with the Minions movie, which is, very, very, very weak. Very weak. At least I could say something about the Minions movie that I can't say about this Despicable Me 3, and it's the fact that they stuck to their own story. Because when, I was kind of looking forward to seeing Despicable Me 3. I wanted to know, like, despite the overused cliches and stuff like that they were using in the trailers, I was like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go in here just like I went here, like I do with every other film. Forget about the marketing, forget about how it was, and just see it as, just go into it with an open mind per se. I went in there, and let me tell you right now. First of all, we didn't have the best theater because for some reason the resolution on it was a little bit brighter than it probably should have been. So it was kind of already throwing me off with already the resolution of the theater. But I don't blame that on the movie. It's just, the theater that we went to wasn't the most quality of theaters. But besides, the resolution on the thing, the first thing I noticed was the fact it's pacing. And you all, if you've been following me for a while, you all know that one of my biggest things that I judge a movie on is pacing. And it can sometimes really bother me if the pacing is, well, for one, it can bother me if the pacing's too slow, but it can also more bother me if the pacing's way too fast, it's way too frantic. And the first thing I noticed about this, it's like, wow, it's just, this pacing is just really, really quickly. It's being way too quick for no reason to then to just say, oh, we have an animated comedy here. We gotta really up the jokes. We on the physical humor. We gotta do what every single animated comedy that comes out in theaters. We gotta do that now. Every anime film has to be comedy now, which is also something I'm really getting sick and tired of. It's like, yeah, I get it. We got Disney, we got Pixar, we got DreamWorks, we got other studios that are not doing, as much comedy as the other ones, but I don't know. It's just something that I've noticed is getting kind of a little bit tiring. But anyway, and also and also to the detriment of this movie that it doesn't know what story to follow. It has, let me tell you how many stories this has. This has Gru trying to find his long lost brother. It has Gru trying to catch the villain, the main villain of the movie. It has Gru's wife Lucy trying to bond with the kids. Agnes wants to go find a unicorn. Oh, what else? I know there's another thing. Oh, the Minions have their own little subplot too. It's just okay. That's already 5 stories. Imagine 5 stories being crammed into each other and just having pretty much having these stories come together in a very non-consistent way. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. And with that, you don't get very good pacing, and you don't get very good storytelling. For someone who managed the storyboards on this movie, it's like, what were you doing? What were you thinking? It goes all over the place, and it doesn't really have any consistency with what story it's following. Doesn't have it. And at least, what I could say with the Minions movie and all the other movies that Despicable Me has produced, at least they have their own story that they follow. It's two stories, normally 2 stories. I mean, maybe I would say that the first one was one consistent story with just these little sight gags going on in the sight gags going on in the background with the Minions, and that was what it was. It's like the Minions work best when they're in short little snippets. Even if you don't like the Minions, you can at least agree to that. But also to the fact that even in the second one, when they had 2 storylines going on. I mean, I think it was 2 stories. I can't even tell anymore. Yeah, it was kind of 2 storylines. One played a much more bigger part than the other one, because the other one you would go back for a few minutes at 30-minute at a time, but still, you still had to go back to that subplot of the Minions getting captured by the evil. I want to say the evil Mexican, but that makes me sound racist. But you have the subplot of the Minions getting captured by the villain, while also Gru having to deal with his own little love story subplot. So, or not subplot, that's the main focus. And also, even in the Minions, you have the main Minions going on their adventure, and then you cut back to the other Minions trying to get to England. So yeah, at least at least when these animated sequels come out and they're not as good as the original, either 1 or 2 things is going to happen. One, they're going to do the exact same thing that they did in the first one, which I think some animated films rely too much on their own reference jokes in their so much so that they can't really come up with new ones, and they have to reference their own jokes that they made. Either that, or they're going to tell so much subplots that none of them are going to get enough time to focus. And that's what's the detriment of Despicable Me 2. That's what's the detriment of so many what's another one? Rio 2. That's the detriment of Rio 2. That's the detriment of Despicable Me 3. That's the detriment of, having to tell so many stories in half an hour, and they don't mesh well, and you end up telling a story that's very, very inconsistent. And I wouldn't mind this. I wouldn't really mind this if none of the jokes were has-beens. I mean, yeah, I did get a laugh every once in a while. It's just to the fact that it's not the characters really that make me laugh anymore. It's more of the little tiny situations that they get into them. And yeah, I can laugh at situations, but the situations are so far in between, and a lot of the situations that they get into are really cliche and don't really make a whole lot of sense. It was just really it was just, really confusing to me. And the audience that I actually went into, was little kids and stuff like that. I thought people were gonna have a ball with this, like, the audiences normally do. But even with the audience that I went to go see this with, it wasn't that much laughter. It was just more of something that happened, and nobody really laughed. Nobody had a reaction to it. They were just sitting there in silence, like deadpan stuff. I heard some kids crying, which, why do people bring, like, little babies to the screening of the movies? It's annoying. It's So yeah, is it just me? Is it just me, or is it just the fact that, I've just seen so much of these movies, you know, me seeing so much of these movies, it's like, yeah, it could be that, or maybe it could be something to where it's just the fact that these movies keep on, and I mean by all animated films, doing, like, falling into the traps of subplots, falling into traps of reused jokes, falling into the traps of not really being all that, original. And I don't need original things. I just need you to be interesting. This movie wasn't interesting. It was actually kind of boring. It was actually really boring. And for a Despicable Me film, I shouldn't be saying that, but it was boring. It was loud. Not that annoying loud that a lot of people want to say, but it was loud. It was loud. There's no silence, no nothing. It was talking, sometimes in a very loud voice. And I don't know, maybe it's the fact that I kind of am getting tired, because television is doing so much interesting things than what animated films are doing right now. And I wish that could change. But I don't know. Maybe I'm complaining too much. I'll tell you right now, the those movies I've seen this year so far are Lego Batman. Lego Batman, of course, and surprisingly Boss Baby. It's like, yeah, like, I could say, why? How can you remember Boss Baby? It was memorable to me. I don't know why, but it was memorable to me. This I'm going to forget in probably about a week. And that's sad. It's sad. And I'm sorry to say, guys, of course, it's just my opinion, but then again, you can also have crap opinions too, so I'm not gonna use that excuse. It's just my opinion, because opinions can be crap. Illumination, to me, is becoming the next Blue Sky. I try to give them chances. Try to give them so many chances. I think until they surprise me with something, something that isn't a cash grab, something that isn't boring, per se, then I will be, completely okay with them. But as of now, they're becoming the new Blue Sky to me. You know why they are? Because Blue Sky hasn't released an animated film since Ice Age 5. How long was that? 2016, I think. I think it was 20. Yeah, it was 2016. So, wait, what happened? What happened? What happened? It's like, and I could understand, like, something like Blue Sky existing and not really making much of a profit. Illumination is probably, besides Pixar and Disney, is the highest grossing animation company right now. And yeah, I understand that. Like they have different outlets in the US and also different outlets in Europe. There are the animation company that partners up with the Europeans, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that we can finally get artists here from different areas. What I don't appreciate is using their talents to make boring as hell movies. And I could also say the same for Blue Sky, because they had some Latino directors and stuff like that, but I don't know. I haven't heard much from Blue Sky. I don't know how their profits are. I know Illumination is high on the roof right now, and they're not going to come down from it. I know the fact that they're not going to stop what makes them money. I know, you got to it's a business. It's an animation business. And you got to make as much money as you can in the animation business. But the fact is that these movies aren't really impressing me anymore. Here's what I put in as for somebody who I would say that who's doing the more interesting animated films out there? Who is doing the more interesting animated films? I gotta say, even though they only put out every so often, Laika does the more interesting animated films. And yes, I wasn't that impressed with Box Trolls, but, and I didn't like Paranorman as much as everybody else does. Everybody loves Paranorman. I just find it kind of, I like Paranorman. It's just the fact that I don't love it as much as other people do. To me, personally, I really do love Coraline, but Laika still, makes at least good movies. They make good movies. And that's why they're the top tier animation house for me. And, as much as I just can't get into their princess movies anymore, Disney has been on a roll. Disney is, Disney is the mountain right now. Disney and Pixar are the mountain right now. Well, Pixar kind of fell off its reign a little bit, but I need to drink something. But what else does that leave with? That leaves with Sony. That leaves with Sony animated films. And you know what? I put Sony above Blue Sky and Illumination. Because I don't care how you say their animation's all cartoony. Well, you know what? When Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Hotel Transylvania came out, everybody wanted to make their animation comedic. Everybody wanted to make their animation cartoony. Everybody. And now that we're getting into this break the fourth wall type humor now with animated films, that is now becoming the norm, with also more cartoony animation. So, am I really blaming for somebody? Is there something to find a market that works? No. It's just the fact that that market doesn't really all that impress me that much unless you're doing one of two things. You can either make your characters more interesting, or you can make it a different atmosphere. Stop taking place in the human world. Go to other places. Use your imagination to brighten up things. I think that's what Sony Pictures is gonna be doing in the next couple of years. Because if I go to an article, they have listings for new pitches and new ideas for movies. Let me go and I know I'm talking right now and not finishing my work right now, but just hear me out on this. Let's see. because Sony Animation hasn't gotten a hit in a long time. And they need a hit. Well, I'm pretty sure they have, but the only ones that have been hit is from one franchise, and that's about it. So, okay. Here we go. So you already know about the Emoji Movie, you already know about The Star, you already know about Hotel Transylvania 3 that's going to be coming out. But they have a plan to put original ideas back into theaters. It's like, you know what? Great. To be honest, I don't... It's better than doing nothing at all. It's better than doing sequels. It's better than doing nothing at all. So, one of the minds behind Gravity Falls is going to be making, a semi-autobiographical tale about a family road trip in the robot uprising. Doesn't that sound cool? Like a family road trip in the distant future where robots take over. I mean, I don't know whether or not the family is running away to a new location to where they can be safe, but it just sounds awesome. It just sounds cool. And yeah, they can easily screw that up, but you know what? I would give it a chance. I would easily give it a chance. I would easily give it a chance. And their next film is going to be a story between a man and a dog with very little dialogue in it, or no dialogue in it. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's going to be a silent picture, just like they had with Shaun the Sheep. You know what? As long as they can keep it, entertaining and such like that, if it doesn't become too boring or too stale, then yeah, people are going, just like they did with Shaun the Sheep, people are going to be praising it. Though I don't know if it's going to be making as much money from something like the previous idea was, because it's a film with very little talking in it. I don't know how you sell that to kids, because kids want to see, goofy characters talking, like smashing into things, flipping around. I'm pretty sure kids can widen their perspective a little bit. I mean, I know I did when I was a kid. I used to watch, occasionally I would watch something that was profound and stuff like that, and I got interested in it. I don't know how kids are, but I could see this one, like, boosting their critical reputation. I can't see this one really making that much money, but we'll just have to wait and see. And then there's another one, who was working on Leica Studios, who brought a pitch of an action emotional comedy about a billionaire superhero who has to raise the orphan of his greatest rival. And you know what? I know superhero things have been kind of dry ever since. I know they I don't know about like superhero parodies. Because when was the last time we had a parody of superheroes? I think the last one was Megamind, and that was it. We could have another one. And it could probably be better written than Megamind, because it's from the perspective of a superhero who's gotten in over his head and has to pretty much man up to raise a child. I don't know if the child's gonna know who his original father is or not. I mean, hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully the child doesn't know who his original father is, but he keeps on wanting to do mischief and evil things. I don't know if the story's going to be exactly like that, but, hopefully, we can only hope, can we? Or, I can only hope. If they want to change it, then that's okay. It's their idea, or it's his idea. So, if they want to, they can change it. I'm trying to draw 505 here, and he's just like, he's an oval. He's an oval. He's a mischievous little creature. Okay, next one is Vito, which I'm pretty sure you've already heard of. It has the screenwriters of Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and who else? That's all it says on here. But it's pretty much a story about a monkey who travels from who pretty much travels from one place to another to live out his musical dreams. And you know what? I'm actually kind of really excited for this. If it's anything, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I'm honestly in love with the guy. I'm honestly in love with the guy right now, and he's been one of my inspirations to want to listen to more musicals and stuff like that. So, hopefully, from what he is bringing to Vito is going to do, maybe they can do more musicals. I'm not sure, but you know what? Something that isn't like some Disney, doing musicals and such like that. We need something like that more in our lives. And we also got that Medusa project that apparently Lauren Faust left because of disagreements with Sony, and now they're going to reboot it, but this time it's Monster Hunter becoming the monster. So it's going to be like a Brother Bear type situation. Like maybe he kills the monster and then he suddenly becomes the monster. It's like I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think this is the Medusa project that they were going to do, and then they decided to revamp it and do something new with it. And it's also going to feature the songwriters for La La Land, so I guess this is also going to be a musical. So, more musicals, that need to come out, that, people have produced music from plays and movies and stuff like that are coming over here to write their own animated musicals. You know what? That's actually really cool. That's actually really cool to be doing. So pretty much that pretty much is it for their plans. And these are all going to come out in 2020 to 2021. So that's going to be a lot of animated movies to produce if they get to them. Again, and Sony has canceled the Popeye movie. They also canceled that Boy and the Unicorn movie. They've taken out a lot of projects. It all depends, though, if she wants to go through with them. It all depends if the president of the company, if she wants to go through with this. And it's going to take a lot more effort. But you know what? She wants to bring something new to the table. She wants to bring original ideas back. Not have to rely on so many sequels. So much things. Like how many sequels or how many things from a reliable property are coming to the big screen right now? We got Despicable Me 3. We got Cars 3. We got Lego Batman, which, is a standalone movie, but it is in a universe. Or movies that aren't, movies that are in a universe as well. I'm also counting those. So we got Cars 3, Despicable Me 3, Lego Batman. The My Little Pony movie. I can't think right now. We got other movies. I know we do. I can't think of it, though. I can't think of it, though. But we need more things other than sequels. I know they make money, but it's getting to be kind of a little bit boring. Okay. I don't know what else to say. Oh, the My Little Pony trailer. It looks good. I mean, the animation's a little bit wonky and stuff like that, but I'm hoping they fix it in the final production. But yeah, I think I think it looks good. I'm glad that we get to see another 2D animated film come back. I mean, it's been so long since a 2D animated film has appeared. I mean, I could count Sponge Out of Water, but that was only even though it was mostly 2D animated. I would say that I would say that that it isn't a fully 2D animated film. I'm looking for a fully animated 2D animated film. And if it has a good story, then maybe it can bring 2D animation back to theaters. I'm not sure, but hopefully it can. I mean, I haven't seen any new animated rated R animated films since Sausage Party. Even though it's only been like about less than a year that it came out, but still. But either way, I'm hoping that it'll bring that back, and I'm just hoping it's a good movie, because right now, for me, MLP has kind of been like, it's kind of turning into turning into something that I'm not really interested in, like, so much watching it as much anymore. I used to be back in the day. Used to be a huge time brony, but no, I'm not. So I'm hoping that the MLP movie can bring something that the show couldn't bring, and that is like a level of epicness per se. Something that can't be done in the TV show. So I'm hoping that it has something like that. So, but that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I just I want it to do good. I want it to do good. Regardless of what I think of the TV show, I want it to do good. Can't get 505 right. He looks like a potato. Okay, I gotta get 505 right, and I can't be talking while I do that, so I'm gonna put on something. So that's pretty much all I need to talk about. I'm pretty much done talking. I've been talking for about 34 minutes. Oh, what would I give Despicable Me 3? I would give it a 4. I would give it a 4, to be honest. Actually.